everybody, welcome back to my channel. Merry Christmas, it's Christmas Eve. I'm here to do my weekly wrap up. I couldn't get to it yesterday. Last minute Christmas stuff, and I still have stuff to do today. So it is what it is. I finished 6 books last week. I'm just trying to get this one up on my tablet, but first one I finished was The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson. I gave this a 4. They're both doctors. They're both shifters. She's an alpha and he's an omega. And apparently that's a very rare combination. So I gave this a 4. She needs his help in avoiding her grandmother constantly pushing for blind dates and like really bad blind dates and marriage. He needs her help, like fake dating, to avoid the hospital board, because his designation is an alpha and he's unmated. So yeah, there's things that happen. So they they do the fake dating thing, and of course sparks fly. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very funny. Her cheekiness towards his very seriousness they played on each other. It was great. So then I finished Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. I gave this a 2. I didn't like it. I read the Little Golden books when I was a kid and watched the movie or the cartoon animated, and I liked that better. This, I didn't like Peter. I really did not like Tinkerbell at all. He's very wacky, and there's a couple of adult things in here that I didn't think was appropriate for kids, obviously. Yeah, so didn't like it. Then I finished Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. This is just an Asian. Mimi and Pebbles are fighting. It's a saga of Sunja. Well, it does a little snippet of Sunja's parents, but Sunja, when she's, I think, 16, she meets up with a man and things happen, and this is in the 1930s. She gets pregnant, and then he tells her that he's already married with kids. He can't marry her, but he can put her up as a mistress. And she's like, no. So she, her mother is a boarding house woman. Like, she has a boarding house. And a priest, based on his brother's recommendations, comes and stays there. But he gets sick with tuberculosis. He's a very sick man. So they bring him back to health, or get him situated with antibiotics and that. And he agrees to marry her, and they move to Osaka. This takes place in Korea and Osaka, Japan. And it's just the battle to survive, I guess. This is Korea before it becomes North and South Korea, and then after it becomes North and South Korea. And Koreans being in Japan, they have no rights. They're treated like second-class, third-class citizens. Yeah, and then their kids. So I loved it. I didn't love it. I liked it quite a lot. I just felt that there should have been, I don't know, it was just, it's hard to put my finger on why I didn't love it as much. I think did I give it a 3 or a 4? Oh, I could have 3, yeah. There was just something about it that, like, I'm used to family sagas that are depressing and stuff, and this one was just as depressing. But there was just something, I don't know, that didn't grip me as much as I wanted it to grip me. So then I finished Rita Mae Brown and Sneaky Pie Brown, Probable Clause. I think this is book 27. Let's see. Yeah, book 27. I gave it a 2. She needs to get off her political high horse and go back to what these were originally. It's really getting annoying. Harry is getting to be more and more vicious. And Harry was always a fun-loving, down-to-earth character. And now she's becoming a very angry political person. It's a Mrs. Murphy mystery. And yet, Mrs. Murphy doesn't solve anything anymore. The animals are just in the background to argue. They're getting mean and vicious. And yeah, like, Harry breaks somebody's arm. And she punches people. Like, she was never like that. Her character was not like that. So she really needs to get off her politics and stuff. And the dual timelines, I think it ends in the next book. I'm hoping, because it really has nothing to do with it. Then I finished The Truth According to Amber. I gave this, did I give it a 4? I think I did. Yeah, I gave it a 4. I read some of the, after the first chapter, I'm like, I think I'm going to be rage reading this, because lying about your status and your education just on your resume to get a job irks me. Because in a way it's happened to me, but in a way it's not. And I'll explain in a minute. I read the reviews, and it made it sound like everything that came out of her mouth was a lie. And it's not. It really isn't. It's not as bad as that. As you get going on the story, it gets really good. But she has a couple of college classes. She wants a better life. She works in a bowling alley. Her brother has stolen her money, and not stolen her money. He goes to jail, or he runs out on his bail, and her school money goes bye-bye, so she can't continue with school. So she wants to get a better job to pay for school. And so she thinks that by saying that she's white because her father was white, that she'll get less rejections because she's had 37. So she gets this job and then meets Dan. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. I think it's Danoa. And he's an IT guy at this accounting firm. She's like a junior level accountant, bookkeeper, whatever. Over here it's bookkeepers and accountants. Yeah. So she kind of flubs her resume, gets this job. Her boss starts sending her on his dry cleaning runs, and she has to pay for it out of her own pocket. He won't reimburse her. He's a real crab. And then they have a meeting, and he gives her all this work. And so they have this meeting with the CEO, and she says, no, I fixed all that stuff up in like less than 2 weeks. So his administrative assistant is going on maternity leave. She gets promoted to that job. And then things really start happening. So the reason I say lying on the resume is not nice. Okay. My friend did not lie on her resume. However, I have a full accounting diploma. Couldn't get a job in town to save my life in that field. Unless I went to Toronto and became a junior accountant for a year minimum. And I was not willing to go to Toronto to do that. I shouldn't have to. So I went through schooling for accounting. And my friend, I also went to school for administrative assistants in executive, medical, legal, and medical. So I have 2 diplomas and 3 partial diplomas. She went to school as administrative assistant. She had 1 accounting class, and she got hired on right away at an accounting firm. you know. So she wasn't lying. It's just people with less qualifications got hired over somebody who had more qualifications. She gets hired on, has no qualifications at all for this job. Doesn't even know some of the terminology. So that's why it irked me a bit. But in the end, it all works out. So I gave this a 4. And then I finished a Backstage Pass by Olivia Cunning. It's Sinners on Tour, Book 1. If you do not like spicy reads, do not read this at all. You have to keep an open mind. Fun fact about me, I was a manager of an adult toy and movie store for 2.5 years just before I got pregnant with Cameron. So this stuff is nothing new to me. However, it's pretty racy for people that are not used to reading some of this stuff. I don't agree with all of it, but that's just my personal thing. So, this is about a woman who's a sexual psychologist. And she's leaving a meeting, or like a conference. And one of the doctors that she's met several times, but he has not remembered her, asks her out for a drink. And she's like, no, I'm going to my room. As she's passing the bar of the hotel, she sees that one of her favorite bands is there drinking. So she decides to go up and say hi to them. And things get pretty racy from there. But she likes the guitarist. And she takes him up to her room to help him with his problem, which is he's drunk and she's trying to save him from a hangover. He thinks it's something else. It turns into something else later. But he's very needy. He falls in love with every girl he meets. She has an ex-husband that has treated her very badly. And whenever she's with somebody else, she hears his voice calling her a whore in her mind. It comes to a head at the end. But yeah, it's very racy. I think I gave it I gave it a 3 because there needed to be a bit more plot. It's very smut heavy in the beginning, and then it starts with the plot towards the end, but it's very smut heavy. So yeah. So that was what I finished. I think that was all 6 books. Yeah. So currently reading 2. Actually, book covers right here. Everland by Wendy Spinell. It's a retelling of Peter Pan. It's a buttery cover. I don't want to ruin it. So, I'm liking this a little bit more. I don't like Bella. I like Pete, but I don't like Bella. I think they're like in their 17, 16 age, and Bella is like 12, and she thinks she's in love with Pete, and it's annoying. So they are in England. Everland is pretty much London, and then the rest is England. And this virus has come in, and all the very young, like babies, and all adults have died from it. There's very few females because it progresses faster in the females than it does the males. And they have to go to Everland to rescue, what is her name now? Gwen's sister, Joanna. And she's got her brother, Mikey. So Gwen is the Wendy character. Yeah. It's all right. I'm liking it better than Peter Pan, but I'm not liking it as much as, yeah. So that's just what it's about so far. I'm just past halfway mark. Sorry. Yeah. And then I'm also reading The Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce, and it's book 1 in the Ellen Warner series. She's a detective on leave, and her brother's getting married, and they invited her and her boyfriend, who she's kind of pretty much pushing away. He wants more, and she's hesitant, very hesitant, because of things that happen. I haven't quite gotten to what those things are, except for her mother died. Her brother didn't show up for it. Her other brother died when they were younger, but it's like, it's being written as if it happened recently, and yet it didn't. It happened years and years ago. But people start going missing at this former sanatorium that has now been turned into like a 5-star hotel. And she's there as a guest of her brother's because his fiance works at the hotel. So it's just like an engagement party between them four. And then Lori, the fiance, just went missing. But 2 other people have gone missing that they don't know was missing. Well, the one they do. That happens. He's like the one that, is he the architect? I think he was the architect that was supposed to do the renovations on the sanatorium. He goes missing, and then several years pass, and then we get into this story. So I'm liking it so far. It's just, it's not drawing me in. So what I hope to read, because I still need to read like 15 books to finish those challenges. It's not going to happen. I can try. These 2 is just for library deadlines. Deadly Yellowstone Secrets by Carrie Trumbo, and The Soldier's Scoundrel by Kat Sebastian. This is an male romance, historical romance, love-inspired suspense. This is Someone's Hunting Bears in Yellowstone National Park, and now Tamala Roth's The Next Mark. And yeah, this is just pretty much a romance. So these 2 are 2 for 1 million more pages. This one's for 52 million more pages. 52 books in a year and 1 million more pages. But this is a Blaze novel, so it's spicy. You'll Be Mine by Jennifer Lebrecht. And it actually takes place at Christmas time. So, perfect read for now. Sorry about the glare. And then Joanna Lindsay's Keeper of the Heart. It's book 2 in the Lice and Terror series. And this is my favorite series from her. It's not perfect. It's just, it's nostalgic. This is the second time I've reading it. And it brings back memories of my best friend, because we read them together years ago when they came out. So that is it for this week. I hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas. Stay safe, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.